name is Sam Shrout. I'm a commercial fisherman here in Santa Barbara, California. It's Sunday, June 7th, 2009. This video is my response to a letter that I got from the Fish and Game dated June 1st, 2009. It's about the way that our lobster escape ports are attached to our traps. I'd like to read a portion of the letter here. If you could zoom in on this over here. It kind of talks about what's required for this to be a legal trap. But then what it's really changing here is wardens have recently noticed a problem with the way some escape gaps are being attached to lobster traps. The escape gaps must be attached in a manner that does not reduce the measurement of the escape gap established in the Fish and Game Code section 9010. If the method of attaching the escape gap results at any point in the escape gap being less than 2 3/8 inches by 11.5 inches, the trap is illegal. If you look at the way that I've attached my escape ports here, I've got a wire bent around here, 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 and here at 4 points to attach it to the trap, just using the natural wire off the trap. They're just now saying that this is a problem. Actually, it starts off by saying wardens have recently noticed a problem with the way some of the escape gaps are being attached. This has been done 33 years, so if they're just now noticing it. Let me just go on with the letter, kind of how it ends here. Section 9010 will be strictly enforced by employees of the Department of Fish and Game while engaged in the performance of their official duties. Any lobster fisherman found using a trap with an escape gap or an escape opening not adhering to the requirements of the Fish and Game Code 9010 will be subject to immediate citation and seizure of his or her illegal trap. Well, as you can see, I'm just now in the process of building a whole bunch of new traps, and I have a whole bunch of old ones over there. And for me to change all these things and to tear these things out and attach plastic escape port or whatever they're requiring me to do is going to be an enormous amount of work and a huge cost to me, which I'm really not into if I can avoid it. And just before the lobster season ended this last year, just in mid-March, I spoke to one of the local wardens. There was a rumor going around before we got these letters saying that they might be enforcing this. And I spoke to him about it, and he looked at my traps and told me that this is not an issue. I'm going to take one of these traps right now. Don't just take my word for it. I'm going to take one of these babies and throw it in my truck, go down to the local downtown and ask some average folks what they think. I mean, just to get a second opinion here, if they think that this is really going to slow a lobster down from going in and out of short. The whole idea of this is to let short lobsters get out of the trap if they need to. And as you can see, I can stick my arm pretty far into there. It's really not a big deal having these wires on there. We'll take a little time out here. These are my traps that I've had left over from last season. There's approximately 300 of them over there. They've already been straightened and dipped, and they're more or less ready to fish. This is where I've been building my gear, and you can see that when I make the sides of the traps, I already have the escapes attached. When the side gets cut off of the main roll, come on in the garage here for a sec. This is like my building table, and you can see I got a little stack here of sides that have been cut off. And these all have their openings cut. You can see I got like 300 lobster escape ports here that I just bought just because they're $1.25 each, and I hear they're hard to get. So I guess they're pretty much worthless now. So 400 bucks gone. But so as you can see, that's a big pile of traps and a lot of work to take all those escape ports out and replace them with something differently. Anyway, let's throw that trap in my truck and go see what some average old Californians have to say for this. Should be fun anyway. Maybe I should flush this guy out of his car. What do you think? Hey bro, got a minute? Got a minute? Give me your opinion on my lobster trap here. How's it going today?
Lobster what?
What's going on?
I might be a poacher.
How's it going, girls?
Good.
Hey, I'm a lobster fisherman here in Santa Barbara, California. I called you over here because I want you to give me your advice or your opinion on this lobster escape port. We're required by law to have these escape ports in here, so short lobsters, if they get caught, they can get out of the trap. You can see that it's a lot larger area than the mesh size. And recently they've decided that they're going to start issuing citations to anybody that attaches it this way by putting the wire up over because of the bump here. They're saying that restricts the opening, and it's going to be a citation and a confiscation of my trap. And I just want to know if you think that that's a good way for your tax dollars to be spent, and if you think that that's going to keep a short lobster from getting out of my trap.
Wait, why? Just because of that?
So pretty much what the problem is these things tied right around here.
Yes.
And what is their justification for that?
I don't see what the big deal is about this right here.
I don't really think it's a big deal, so.
I really don't think it's a big deal.
This kind of sounds like they're just being really picky about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't approve of their bullshit, but in terms of complying so you can use your traps.
Yeah.
So
What do you, same thing?
It's bullshit, yeah.
Yeah, and you?
Yeah.
So you got my vote.
I honestly don't think it'd keep a short lobster from coming out of the trap. I don't think it would harm it in any sort of way either.
Oh, it seems pretty legit.
These four things right here, I don't see how that could like stop them.
I personally think that's beautiful, just like it is.
If a lobster's small enough, it should be fine.
No, it's a waste of taxpayer money. We're in a budget crisis right now. Should be back burner stuff.
They do not comprehend prioritizing. You know, what's important. This is not important.
No, definitely not, especially in the time of depression. Recession, yeah, of course.
I think that it's too short of a time frame to try to install a change this rapidly for them to be successful to get the change put into effect. They either waited too long to do nothing or they're being too quick about doing something.
I'd hope that they'd study it enough, you know? If it's just some arbitrary law they're making, then I wish that they'd put a little more research into it.
Yes? Of course I like lobster.
Talking, you two just stand there and look for it.
A grace period should be in place, like with any sort of enforced
Yeah.
upgrades.
Oh, grace period would be more than reasonable, at least in terms of this upcoming season.
Maybe have some sort of a grace period where, you know, the ones that you've already got are grandfathered in. Give us a 5-year period to phase these out so that, you know, generally speaking, the traps are good for about 5 or 6 years anyway. Well, if they're going to give me a fine, that's fine, but they're talking about taking it away.
Yeah, exactly.
And when they talk about taking it away, that's a bummer, so I can't.
But will you get caught?
I haven't even had a chance to call this woman, Nancy Foley, with the Chief Law Enforcement Division at the Department of Fish and Game. But tomorrow morning, I'm definitely going to give her a call under the video so she can have a look at it herself and see if this is really what she wants to be pursuing.
Well, good luck to you.
Hey, well, thanks a lot, and thanks for your input. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't think anybody really had the opinion that that was going to stop a short lobster. It's a desert of wire. Birds love it. This is lobster fishing. It ain't rocket science.